We need to keep carrying magazines around.
Yeah, don't need to. Now you can much more easily look at it on the bus.
Yeah, I know. And nobody sees what you're doing.
As long as you're in the farthest back. Porn.
Yeah.
On the bus. As long as you are in the far back, and no one's sitting behind you, you're good to go.
Yeah, you can do it on an airplane too, because the seats are high.
100%, yeah.
Can't nobody see shit.
So welcome to another episode of Another Dumb Day. Today we have with us All Almighty Nick Jameson. Welcome to the studio, Nick.
Hey, yay for me.
Yes, sir.
So Nick is the new Mauricio.
Yes.
We fired Mauricio.
Yeah.
Mauricio fired himself.
Mauricio kind of had it coming, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He thinks he's pursuing an acting career.
He's in Hollywood.
Right, yeah, because he's African-American or Dominican, African something. You get hired for his race. Yeah,
okay. Yeah, they're a minority here. What is it? Commodity? Commodity.
A commodity.
Commodity, there you go.
A minority commodity.
They're a minority commodity.
A minority.
No, yeah. So he's acting in movies, and he thinks, well, he could have been here. Shot. He could have been here. He acted in a movie this morning.
He did?
Yeah. But he only wanted to ask the babysitter to sit once. so he literally made a choice.
Yeah. Yep. Right.
And he chose his career.
Yeah, man.
He also bailed on the show tonight.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Was he going to perform?
Yeah, I asked him to.
Oh, okay.
But whatever. We don't need him.
Whatever. Some people have lives. I don't understand this life thing.
I think the only role he's playing is the role of an idiot if he thinks he's going to be a movie star.
Yeah.
Good thing he's not going to listen to this podcast. He'd be really mad at us.
Yeah, there's no way. Yeah. Poor guy. But how long have you lived in Iceland for, Nick?
7 years almost.
7 years.
Yeah.
Did you had you started the open mic?
When Nick moved here?
Yeah.
No, I don't know if you'd started it. I wasn't doing it. It took me about a year to hook up with you, I think.
Yeah, we started 6 years ago?
2015.
Yeah,
maybe it was right around the beginning. Darren Foreman told me about it. And I think I went and saw it once.
I remember the first time I met you.
It was at a hip-hop show.
Right.
Yeah, I was doing I Ain't Shit at a hip-hop show.
Wasn't it at Charlambio?
It was at Göttingen.
Oh, okay. Maybe then I don't remember the first time I met you.
Come and do what you're doing, do it in the intermission, because,
right.
you thought have a musical thing in the intermission. And then you started putting me in the show, and then I was like, wow, I've never thought of writing stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll try it. Because I'd done improv forever. I'd even done improv in comedy clubs, like as in a stand-up club. Yeah. But the idea of writing comedy...
You say in a stand-up club, like it's some like outback stand-up club. It's the Comedy Store.
Yeah, well, yeah, in other words.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was the
Comedy Store, yeah, right. But it never occurred to me. I mean, I looking back, as I kick myself. It's like... Because the reason I stopped doing it there, I was doing it most of the time with Gracie Moore, and we used to make up songs, improv songs. And one time, Pauly Shore dissed us on stage, and I get really pissed.
From the crowd, or from?
We introduced him. We gave him this great big, Pauly Shore, and he comes out and he starts making fun of us. And
do you remember what he said?
Were they taking calls from the audience and making up songs? And then
it's hilarious.
A week later, Mitzi comes up. I heard you guys were improvising in the main room. I said, yeah, Mitzi, that's what we do. That's what we've always done. That's why you asked us to come. Yeah, you can do that in your original room. I don't want anybody improvising in the main room. So, thanks to Pauly Shore, we just kind of lost interest.
God damn.
What, were you the only improv group at the Comedy Store?
Yeah. Either I did it with Gracie or I do it by myself sometime in the original room. There was nobody else doing that. I mean, the groups would go to the belly room. In fact, that's how we started. We were in the belly room with a group. We had a group called Nothing Sacred. And we did, an improv comedy thing up there. And then Mitzi saw us up there. And had me and Gracie come out. and said, well, I want to put you in the main room. Yeah, I think I like what you do, you know. And we were just making up songs. And
but she must have thought it was all written.
She must have thought it was written. I don't know. But we wouldn't just do songs. We would do sort of improvise, do little monologues and improvise stuff and have the audience yell out suggestions and stuff like that. It was very unusual. Nobody else was doing that in a stand-up show.
Yeah.
You know, improv and stand-up were two completely different things.
When was this?
This was 91 and 92, I think, about. They were just like, the two would never meet. And improv people looked down at stand-ups, and stand-ups thought improv was stupid, you know.
Yeah.
And
Still do, I think.
We were definitely an anomaly. Because we're doing it as a stand-up act. We go out and do, you know, 10, 15 minutes, whatever it was, and, you know, with this roster of amazing comedians. And we kill it, you know, because I at that time, people were not... Improv music is not as big thing as it is today. And even improv itself, people will come to the comedy store, you know, they're just not expecting that. It's kind of like when I do it here, you know, they're not expecting that.
No, true.
You know, if I do an improv song, it's like, oh, that's different, you know. So, yeah, it was cool. It was fun.
No, you have been known to, like, blow the roof off the place.
Yeah, with
people
that
are
stuff.
legit not expecting,
A,
you, and then B, just improv songwriting on the spot.
Yeah.
Especially after like they listen to a comedian bomb with his dick jokes.
Hey, don't diss dick jokes. I got a whole new set that's nothing but a dick.
He has a 10-minute dick joke now.
Really?
It's hilarious. And then
15 with the song.
And then
Nice.
5-minute song about it.
Yeah,
about
it's
dicks.
like one long dick joke. Because
Okay,
I was
that's
thinking everybody
hilarious.
thinks I'm so esoteric and intellectual and stuff. And I'm not getting as many spots as I used to. Maybe I ought to, like, you know, get down.
Is anyone?
Huh?
Is anyone? There's just not as many spots, right?
Now, this was coming out of COVID, you know, and things were kind of scattered and stuff.
Yeah.
And I felt I want to get back into this. I really want to be doing a lot of spots. So I'm gonna take the lowest form of comedy and put some rims on it and see what I
Damn.
do.
You'll be booked all over the place.
Yeah. Well, we'll
Give
see.
the people what they want.
Yeah. I'm interested.
Nick
to
the
see.
Dick comedian.
Yeah, Nick the Dick. Yeah, I know.
You told me that when you were in an improv group, the improv people thought they were superior to the stand-up.
Yeah,
vice
yeah,
versa.
absolutely. That's the way it was in L.A. And I was like an improv snob, you know. I'm there at the store with guys like Paul Mooney and Dom Herrera, David Allen Greer, and Eddie Griffin, Paulie Shore and Andrew Dice Clay and all these guys. And I see him get up and do the same set every night. I was like, he's fucking doing the same thing every night. What's up with that? And, some of the guys I'd really like, there was a guy, Jackson Purdue. He was a Native American / American. And I just thought he was great, and I liked his stuff, and I got to where, like, I knew his whole set.
Yeah.
You know, but at the same time, I was like, we do different shit every night.
Yeah.
That's cooler, right? You know,
And then the stand-ups must have been thinking, like, these assholes can't even write.
I know, they can't write. Yeah, I know. They tend to think we're cute and Jujun, and, you know, we're just...
It's like a gimmick.
Yeah, well, it's not so much a gimmick, but, like... sort of more childlike. We're playing, you know, we're acting things out and stuff.
But it's intermingled more now. Like now you got you got so many comics that had their roots in improv.
Yeah,
and they're lauded for their improv skills on stage, and being able to improv stand up on the spot is like a valued skill.
Yeah, like Greg Proops, Andrew Schultz. It's funny. One thing I've never really done is crowd work.
Yeah, funny.
Yeah, I need to learn how to do that. I just don't know how to do that because if I know I'm going to improvise and I get a suggestion, I can just go off on it.
Yeah.
But when it's like where you're from and then say something funny about where they're from, I have never done that.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it.
I feel like you would be good at it though.
I would think so, if I can sort of feel my way into it, of my own way of doing it, you know. But when I look at people doing it, I look at like Andrew Schultz. It's like, how's he doing that?
Yeah, I think like one of the I think it's a blessing and a curse being able to see all these amazing comedians all the time.
Right.
Because because you like on one hand you become inspired and you go like I want to do that, but on the other you go like I'll never be able to do that.
Right.
So like it can like for example, but like the problem is you have to only be inspired and then just think like they are the best.
Yeah.
I can be anything, in between that and maybe eventually become the best.
Yeah. I think I find it inspiring, and I just like, I'll watch it over. I'll like print out transcripts of Bill Burr, or Eddie Izzard, or Carlin, or Jim Jeffries, and I'll just go over and highlight the punchlines and see what they're doing.
Yeah.
You see how they're setting stuff up, see how they're connecting. So I learn a lot that way, And,
That's smart.
And I think it's great, being able to see all these guys. But, it's not, I don't know, I was in New York like 3 weeks ago. Went to the Comedy Cellar. Louis C.K. stops in. It was just so awesome to see him in person,
So that's all up and running again?
Oh, yeah. New York is blasting.
Okay.
The subways are packed. The streets are packed. Central Park. I mean,
it's like COVID never happened.
Almost, yeah. Like everybody I talked to was vaccinated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing it fast over there.
They were. Yeah. It's, I mean, if you weren't vaccinated, you're supposed to wear a mask. So I wore a mask. But
so you still haven't gotten your scene?
I got mine. Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, I've been like knocked out by it.
Oh, you just recently got it?
No, 10 days ago, and I'm still feeling it. It's weird. I would not expect.
Which one did you get?
AstraZeneca.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Got the Johnson.
I was at the doors of death.
Yeah. Me too. Yeah.
Crazy.
It's nasty. Yeah.
Supposedly that's a good thing though. Like they tell you that.
Yeah,
maybe just,
right. That means
maybe
you're
just
really
to like
getting
make you
immune.
not sue them or something. But they say like that means it's working. I'm like, not if I die from it.
Yeah, I got up one night at the open mic, and the day I got the vaccine, and I didn't realize it had hit yet.
Oh.
I got up there and I'm trying some new stuff, and I just got totally lost. I couldn't even remember what I was doing.
Yeah.
And I was like, guys, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have got here so fucked up. Got a few laughs in, and then just get the hell off.
Yeah.
Man, it caught me by surprise.
Yeah, me too. Like my bones got cold.
Really?
I just felt cold on the inside.
Yeah.
But I was just sweating.
Yeah.
Not hot, but cold.
Yeah, Adrian found me. I was like unconscious.
Wow.
On the couch, just like when she came home.
Shit.
Yeah,
No, that's worse than
just
me.
delirious. But it was like, because like it felt like I was sick for maybe 12 hours.
Yeah.
But then it took me like 5 days to recover.
Yeah.
To where like
okay.
it felt like my body was completely just.
Yeah.
This is the first day I got vaccinated on a Monday. This is
Yeah.
the first morning I woke up not feeling like shit.
Yeah.
Like-
Oh, okay. Well, I don't feel so unusual then.
No.
Thanks, guys.
But you both
Commiserating.
have one left.
Yeah.
No, I've got my second.
Oh, you got your second.
Yeah.
So you've been
Yeah.
feeling like this from. How was your first?
First, I got sick for like a day.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so the second one is worse.
For me, it was. Most people's
Keith
apparently
might
not.
die.
I might legit die. Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised. I wasn't expecting that. It was.
Like I've heard something about like AstraZeneca not being like considered valid in the States. Is that true?
Nah.
Okay.
I don't think so. They might have stopped doing it for a while because of the blood clot thing, but then when they get that straightened out,
Yeah. It's a tricky situation. There's so much misinformation flying about. Like
Oh yeah, and in the States you got all these anti-vaxxers.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. We have a few of them here
people.
too.
We actually so yesterday was what is it like a Women's Rights Day or something, right? Baráttudagur kvenna. And so my mom and my grandma were in town, and they went to like the lawn in front of the Parliament building to protest.
Right.
And they were like the women's activist group or whatever was had like planned to protest there at like 3:00.
Right.
But they had to postpone it because the lot was occupied by anti-vaxxers who had not like asked for permission to protest or something.
No way.
Yeah.
Was this downtown?
Yeah.
I walked past them.
Yeah.
I thought they were like...
They're real people, and there's a lot of them.
Dude, they looked homeless but happy about it. They were walking around and smoking weed. And like, it was super weird. Like, are these people homeless or not? Those were anti-vaxxers.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I walked past them. There was something strange going
So they don't like they look homeless just because they're sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they don't want to because they think it's like going to kill them or something.
Or like Bill Gates is gonna fucking monitor.
Oh right,
them
put chips in them, and
I'm like, you're talking on a Chinese phone. I think like if anyone's monitoring you, it's through your fucking phone, not
if
not
you
a
have
vaccine.
a phone, they own you already.
Feels like such a like a huge hassle to like go through all the secrecy of creating a vaccine with like this amazing technologically advanced microchip that's going to track you. When you allow them willingly to track you through your Facebook page. Like,
It's already done.
Anybody actually hit the manage my preferences thing when you get one of those?
the cookie things. Yeah, no one's like, fuck it, yeah, accept all. Just give me my porn. Come on.
Within 10 minutes, you visited 30 sites. You're going to go in and manage your cookies. On
They
all
know
of them.
exactly what you're doing. Yeah. Bill Gates does not need to go through all this hassle to monitor you.
So get vaccinated, people, or we'll come and find you.
It's just like, it's amazing. Just some people just have to be against something. They just pick this field to die on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
Or
Now they're
hill.
blaming the FBI for the January 6th. What was the thing when they
the
attacked
insurrection, yeah. Oh, they're blaming the FBI, right, yeah.
Yeah, they're blaming the
Oh,
FBI.
they'll blame it. Yeah, and for a while it was like, it's all Antifa people
Yes,
pretending
it
to
was
be Trump
Antifa.
supporters.
Yeah.
And
Even though they've
yeah.
arrested like hundreds of them,
they're
they all
on-
say, yeah, the
they're
president
on
sent
video.
us.
Yeah.
There's one guy. I was watching this last night. He was on Fox News. The guy who had like a big speech just right before as they attacked.
Yeah.
He was on Fox News this week going like, yeah, it was probably the FBI just coming in there and the Tifa and like attacking it. Like we didn't know what was going on. Like we have video of you attacking. Like, are you the FBI? What are you doing?
They learned that from Trump. I mean, he can say something, and the next day say he never said it, and they all accept it. You know, it's like 1984. It's like when you can get people to believe 2 + 2 = 5, then you got them.
Yeah.
Because you get people to believe things that they know aren't true, then you own their brain.
Yeah. And just say enough bullshit.
Yeah, and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane.
So how did it feel like? Did the states feel different now? Like,
I hadn't been in New York forever.
Yeah.
Just the decibel level when you go outside. And I was down in the Village. It's not even, it's used to be, at least anyway, the more laid back part of town. And it's just, you go outside, it's there's all the traffic and the horns and just people in the streets. And compared to Reykjavik, it's
of course.
It's like, Jesus, this is nuts. How does anybody live here? I mean, I used to spend a lot of time there. I never actually had an apartment there, but I would, go in there, stay there for weeks, sometimes months at a time. And I lived out in Long Island for a while. And even when I lived up in state in Woodstock, I would just come down all the time. And I always loved it,
Yeah.
And there's something I still love about it. I mean, it's, it's still got that thing, but just as far as living day to day.
Yeah, I can imagine there's a lot to take in. It's probably taxing, like on just
I think, it has to be. Like L.A. was taxing for me, and I didn't realize how taxing it was until I got out of there.
You came from L.A. to here.
Yeah. And when I go back to L.A., it's like I feel like I'm by the ocean because all these cars, it's just cars everywhere. Like, whoosh, whoosh, you sit in an outdoor cafe. Whoosh,
You didn't grow up in like a big city, though.
I grew up in Philly, which is a medium-sized city.
Right.
Yeah.
But I didn't live downtown. I lived in the suburbs. Then I moved downtown eventually.
Yeah.
But, it's not like it's overwhelming as New York. When I would go to New York, I would feel, it is a real city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess when people like grow up in a city and around the noise, they get uncomfortable when they leave.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dave and Foghat wrote a song about that. Fool for the city. I'm in the country. It's driving me nuts. I got to get back. I got to get the air pollution, man.
Yeah, I guess it's whatever you get used to.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, my friends Mike and Denise Reese lived in L.A. longest I knew them. They moved to New York. They love it.
Yeah.
They just, they live in this huge high rise. You look out and it's like you see the whole city. And it's like, sometime because we were wondering, okay, we stay in an Iceland, our apartment was getting sold, and I didn't think I could buy it. And it's like, oh, geez, well, there's nothing to rent. Where else could we live? We could live in L.A., New York. And because I hadn't been there for a while, I had this sort of romantic memory of New York. Yeah. Man, so New York is where everything's happening, man. It's all the comedy clubs and all of this and that. And, go to the opera and all this shit. You can go eat anywhere at any time. But then being back there is like, no, I could not live here. Could not live here. It's just too much. It's just like right in your face all the time.
I think like Reykjavik is it's not a city by any standard compared to other
it's a
cities.
Small town that thinks it's a city.
Yeah, exactly. Pretends to be.
It pretends to be. And it is. It's got all the city stuff. It's just on a much smaller scale and all close together.
It checks all the boxes.
It does. Because I love living in small towns. I lived in a small town upstate New York for a long time. And I've spent a lot of time in New England, hanging out in small towns. I love that kind of life, where you just see everybody all the time. And you can just walk everywhere. And you get that here, but you also get all the city stuff too.
Right.
That's what I love about it.
Yeah, you get all the service and because we've been thinking about eventually buying property.
Yeah.
And where should we is there any point in trying to buy property in the city? Do we want to stay here? And then because it's so expensive.
Yeah.
And then we've been looking at the near-lying towns, and it's half the price for a house.
Yeah, yeah.
And then that's it like you said, there's this romantic image.
Yeah.
Being a small town would be nice.
Yeah.
And then I just get to thinking but I wouldn't have any friends.
Right.
You couldn't go to Subway at midnight.
Right. You have to drive everywhere.
Yeah, you have to drive everywhere. And and I was telling my mom this too. I was I wouldn't have any friends. And she's you'll make friends. And I'm how? I don't even drink anymore. How am I supposed to make friends? And she was join the choir. And I'm okay, we're staying in the city. Join the choir.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing is if you can get it together to buy a place downtown, it goes up.
Yeah.
And so it's a good investment at least.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you manage to get the money, but it's just it's a really
stretch,
and it's you can. It's most people are just so stuck in the renter's loop thing, where you it's so hard to put aside money when you constantly have to pay, 2/5 or half your paycheck to rent.
Because the rent is so much more than the mortgages.
Yeah.
But when I moved here, I got rid of everything I had. I was telling you, I had 3,500 books, and I had all this stuff. I got rid of all of it. It's I'm just going to rent houses, and I'm going to rent a house in Reykjavik. And I found one.
Yeah.
This cute little house on Foghat before the one that I had when you met me.
Oh, so you found another house.
I'm just going to rent this place. It was furnished. I said, I'm going to rent a furnished house. I'm going to own nothing except my recording equipment and my instruments, and that's what I want.
Yeah.
And now we have bought an apartment full of furniture. I was exact opposite of what I was picturing. But, it was just necessity because you can't. 4 or 5 years ago, you stopped being able to rent houses.
Yeah.
They don't exist.
Yeah.
And now even to get a decent apartment downtown is so hard.
Yeah, it is very difficult.
Yeah.
But I think it's also, the near-lying neighborhoods are becoming more accessible. And it's for example, I think the center town is moving further towards the center of Reykjavik.
Yeah.
So because
Skaven and
I think it's more a necessity because there's no apartments. Most of it has been rental or Airbnb or hotels or whatever.
Yeah. I was thinking that when the COVID happened and the tourism went down, the Airbnb apartments would start being available for rent.
Some did, but I think most people knew this is temporary.
Yeah,
we're gonna cut our losses, but eventually,
it was dismal. It was dismal. I was looking for months for something.
Yeah,
just nothing.
Yeah. So what I was asking, this was your first time in the States after Biden won, right?
Yes.
Did it feel different now than versus Trump's America?
Not really, because if you go to LA or New York,
they're so liberal anyway.
There's not a lot of Trump people there. Most of the big cities, not a lot of Trump people. And even, I don't know what it would have been like going to Nashville or something, but actually I was in Nashville during Trump time. But, it's not something that you sort of feel in the air or anything like that. It's mostly if you watch the news or if you care about what's actually happening.
Yeah, true.
If you care that you got a psychopath running the country who lies all the time. But, you talking to people on the street. Before they did bitch more about Trump. You know what I mean? But it wasn't living in Nazi Germany or something.
No.
You didn't feel like somebody's going to jump out of the bush and you fucking libtard. Boom.
But what is the future going to it's not like these people are just going to stop supporting Trump.
Oh, no, they're still going at it.
Yeah.
They're getting worse, I mean, like you were saying about the insurrection thing, they're just in denial about everything.
Yeah, and they've now they've kind of they've been backed into a corner.
Yeah.
Like they've lost and they're being backed in the corner, and that makes them just more dangerous. If anything.
Yeah, and this big lie that Trump really won the election and he's really the president, they're just hanging on to that. And people, you see the Republicans in Congress who want to keep their jobs, because their base and states they're from are like rabid Trump people, and they have to play along with that. A lot of them just know it's bullshit.
Yeah.
But they play along with it. And some of them actually believe it, I guess. But he's very powerful still. And he brainwashed, he conditioned the country. He conditioned the whole country to like accepting what he did, which is just lie about everything and lie about. So now it feels perfectly normal for a third of the country to believe this ridiculous lie, and it's not really even news anymore. So they still believe they won the election. Because he would just do so many outrageous lies and such outrageous shit. You got used to it. You got to know. And he just gaslighted the whole country into craziness. So.
Yeah, I remember people said like when Trump won, it was like a comedy goldmine, and then like people were going like, if Biden wins, like comedians are going to be out of a job. But like the last 2 years, it was just so like overdone because nothing you could write or come up with would ever match what he would say tomorrow.
It's also because he is a parody. So you can't parody a parody. So it's just you can't make.
Yeah, I would use him as a punchline sometime, but I'd never go on about Trump on stage.
No.
Well, also because I think he's so dangerous. I mean, a year before he got elected, I was just screaming my head off that he's a malignant narcissist and that people don't realize how dangerous he is. And everybody was like, nah, he's a buffoon. He'll never get elected. He's a clown. No, he's not. He's a demagogue and mentally ill. And I mean, that's why he's so over the top, is because he just lives in this fantasy universe where he has to protect his ego and his image at all costs. I mean, all costs. Mm-hmm. If it means people die, so be it. He's got to be right. He's got to be the greatest. So, anyway,
is there like a turning point? Like, can it go back to normal? You think?
I don't know, man.
I think this is a new normal.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I hope so. But the Republican Party's been so taken over by this, and not just because of Trump. I mean, it was starting before with talk radio and Fox News and all this extremist kind of, own the libs kind of thing, and it's just so polarized now. It's like sports teams. You root for a sports team because they're your team, not because they're good.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. If you're a Mets fan, you're gonna root for them no matter what, and it's like. You don't care how good the other team is. You don't care about anything. You're just rooting for your team, and that's the way it is. It's
it's become sports.
Yeah, it is totally. Yeah, there's no dialogue between the two sides. It's predictable what each one's going to say about the other, and it's just.
Yeah, they made U.S. politics the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they did.
Just two teams.
Yeah. Or professional wrestling.
Yeah, or professional wrestling. Yeah. Which Trump was a part of.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh,
him and what's the guy's name? Who runs?
He's the owner of the.
Who's the owner of the WWE?
Yeah,
them were like best buds or something. Trump
picked them up and threw them down.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah. Trump like appeared in a few wrestling shows.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I mean, it's perfect for him.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
he should be just like a professional wrestler.
He should be. Yeah, it's all bullshit and hype. Yeah,
that would be awesome.
Yeah,
and less dangerous.
Yeah. Definitely.
How did you? Is it true that as a teenager you were like a pop star in Greece?
What? I wouldn't say pop star.
Wait a second.
But I did have hit records. Yeah.
In Greece.
Yeah,
in Greece.
Yeah.
How old were you?
I was like 14.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. I mean, what do you got to be to?
But why Greece?
My dad's an archaeologist, or he was. My late dad was an archaeologist and an anthropologist, and he had a dig there. He specialized in ancient Greece, and he had a dig in the Peloponnesus, a place called Portocheli, and he would go there sometimes for like 3-4 months on his own, but the whole family went for a couple of years at one point while he was working on this thing, and I was a rebellious young kid, so I ran away from home, as you do. And
in Greece?
Yeah, I went to an island, because I think what had happened was one of the divers had went to Athens And I went with him just for the hell of it. Yeah, why don't you go with David to Athens? You haven't been to Athens for... I don't think I'd ever been to Athens. And we took a boat to Athens. And the way back, I met this grungy group of art students from England. And they were like, sitting around with guitars on the deck of the boat playing. And I said, oh, man, can I come play with you guys? And we just started jamming. And they were going to Spetses, which is an island right off Porto. And they said, let's go there, start a band. Let's just hang out. And so I ran away and joined them. And we all stayed in this one long room with like 8 beds right next to each other and nothing else. Guys, girls, and this whole gang just sleeping on top of each other there. And
were
we
you all
go,
the same age?
Yeah. Well, they were older than me. They were more like college age.
Oh.
They were, art school people. I would say like back then it seemed like every band came out of art school. The Stones, the Animals, everybody was in art school. But and we would just play these clubs on this island, and after a couple weeks, we're in the main square of the town, and eating, and I see my mom coming. She'd taken oh my God! So I got out the table and I went and hid around the corner. Figured she's gone. I come back, sit down at the table, and I get a tap on my shoulder. And she's there with a suitcase. I thought you might need this. They just kind of accepted it because I'd been running away for years. I was a terrible kid, and they just kind of finally accepted he's doing his thing.
So you were on a different island than they were?
Yeah, well, they were on the mainland.
Oh,
Porto was on the mainland, which now is this huge millionaire paradise. At the time, it was this funky little place, 100 houses or something. It's this deserted outcrop.
Wait, and so at what point did you meet Homer and he wrote you as the character of Odysseus?
Oh, that was, I think about when I was 13.
Yeah.
Yeah, that dick joke thing I was telling you about, it starts with the Greeks.
Oh, really?
So my dad would be proud of me.
Wow, but how did you become a pop star?
In Greece, well, this gang of characters, we called ourselves the Zoo, and we did play it in over the islands. Then, when the summer was over, I went back home, and we went to Athens, and I went to school. They put me in a school. It was like an American school, mostly military people. And I met some other guys there. I met 3 other guys. Their names were John, Paul, and George. I swear to God, I can't make this up. And we decided to form a band, and I stole the name from the old band, the Zoo. And we just started playing around. It got kind of popular. And then a guy from Philips Records saw us and wanted us to record. So we went into the studio, this big old school studio with the white acoustic tiles. And we cut an A side and a B side and put it out, and it got like one in the top 10.
Wow.
And we would tour around,
That's surreal.
Yeah, I know, it was surreal.
That is kind of.
So was it short-lived fame, or?
Well, it lasted till my family left.
Yeah.
And then, I think right about before that, we just kind of drifted apart because, I think one of the guys might have even left the country. One guy's still there. John Carr, the drummer.
Have you ever considered doing a reunion tour
Yes.
of Greece?
Oh my God!
The Zoo is back.
Probably nobody alive who would remember it, except for Homer. He takes special drugs. He's still around. No, but I did see him. I went back to Athens, and he was working for, I think, BBC maybe, as a foreign correspondent. And we shot the shit about the old days.
Wow, that's crazy. So, soon after you so you were 14 there,
Yeah.
and then you moved home. When did you start rock bands in the States?
You were a producer first, or you were.
Well, no, I had a band. I moved back to Philly. I was in a band called The Fine Stuff, and that lasted just a little short time. Then I joined a band called The American Dream. And we became really big in Philly. We were kind of the guys in Philly. And that lasted a few years. And then I moved to Woodstock. I wanted to, Todd Rundgren was from Philly. I don't know if you guys know about him. He's kind of this Renaissance man, producer, engineer, artist, songwriter. He's a great, brilliant guy. And he produced our record. It was the first record he ever produced. And I kind of thought, well, I want to learn how to do that. I want to learn how to do engineering. Because I had seen him learn how to do it. Because he was in a band called the Nas in Philly. And they went and did a record, and he didn't like the production. So the next one he produced. And said, yeah, I want to do that too. So our manager went to work for Albert Grossman, who's Bob Dylan's manager. Bob Dylan, Peter, Paul and Mary, Richie Havens, Janis Joplin, all those. He was like
those minor celebrities.
Yeah, he's a legendary guy. And he started a record company, and our ex-manager went to work for him to become president of the company. And I he knew I wanted to get into engineering, so he got me a job up at Bearsville Studios, which was up in Woodstock, New York. And
is that the Woodstock?
No,
There's
two different things.
Okay.
One is a place where everybody takes lots of drugs, and
the other is a music festival.
Yeah, and the other is a music festival. Yeah, exactly. It's it was this town where all the rock stars went to die of overdoses, basically.
Really?
No, there was so much talent there. There was like Paul Butterfield, Jeff Mulder, Bonnie Raitt used to come by. Janis Joplin was there. The band, they lived there. I knew those guys. I used to hang out with them. And as Arthur knows, I never met Bob Dylan, but I did crystal meth. It was just all those guys were there. All these 60s, it was a particular strain of the sort of Albert Grossman kind of thing, the Dylan and the band, like this kind of more organic rock.
So this is where Bob Dylan's house was?
Yeah.
Yeah. In case you know that story.
Yeah.
Like we were kind of just in a car and we're talking about Bob Dylan. And then he says, never met Bob Dylan, but I did a bunch of crystal meth in his house.
Which is a line to draw.
Yes.
Yeah. At the time, I was just reminiscing, and everybody started laughing. I said, why is that funny? And I realized
how insane it is.
Yeah, and it's it kind of negates the fact that you were doing crystal meth.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
you don't know
one time in my life I did. I was with this guy. I went to this party at Dylan's house. There was this guy, Walter Johnson, who took care of Dylan's house. And it was a very just ordinary, nondescript house, just like a little ranch house. And it had a piano in it and a pool table. I remember that.
Was he as huge back then? Was he at the height of his fame?
Totally. That was the height of his fame, yeah. He just wasn't there.
Yeah.
And there was a party there, and I went with this guy, Jean-Yves Labatte, who was this French synthesizer artist, back in the day before anybody knew what a synthesizer was. He was very experimental and just, French in the most annoying way. Sorry, French people. But he was everybody's stereotype of a French guy. And we were there, and he got me to take crystal meth. And he said, let's go into the studio. We'll make something huge. It'll be beautiful. And so at 2 a.m, we leave this party, and this is in the middle of a blizzard. And we drive up the hill to Bearsville Studio. We go in there, and we just start cutting this song. And when you work with Jean-Yves, what he does, but you come up with all the stuff. And he sits back in a chair and says, yeah, I like that. No, I don't like that. No, your drum is funky. Do something else. And then he'll put his little synthesizer blips on it after it's all done. So I dredged up this old song called What Are You Gonna Do About It, which was a Small Faces hit. Not even a hit. It was something from a Small Faces album. And we cut that. But I'm tweaked out in crystal meth, so I put down a drum track first, and it's all over the place, and this is not Pro Tools days, you know what I mean? This is analog tape, so we go back there, and I got it. No, wait a minute, it's all out of time, man. What are we going to do? Oh, don't play it again. It'll take too long. Let's edit it. So I spent 3 hours. I could have done it again in 10 minutes. Of course, it probably would have been just as bad. But I'm cutting almost every beat on the tape to move it around. It looks like a barber pole going by. It's when you fast wind the tape. And, come 7, 8 in the morning, it's and then we put guitars on it, put vocals on it, and then I realized, Johnny was still into it. I think he might have done some more crystal meth. I realized we have got a giant smelly turd on our hands here, and I'm the engineer there. I got to account for this. And he was technically a Bearsville artist, so I got to write all this down. That me and Jean-Yves Labatte went in and we did 10 hours or whatever it was on this piece of shit. And I'm like, oh God, what am I gonna do? This is horrible, because I'm coming down from the crystal meth and I've got this turd in my hand. And he looks at me and he goes, what can happen to a tape? So what do you mean, what can happen to it? Well, it can be magnetized, it can catch on fire, someone can steal it. Something happened to this tape. We're not responsible for it anymore. Fuck, what can happen? The worst thing that could happen to this piece of tape already happened. We put this piece of shit track on it. You know? The thing is, like, if we took it out and put it against the wall and shot it, it would be better than this. He said, no, we'll roll it down the hill. Come on, because it's on a mountain. We're in the middle of a blizzard. Take it outside, roll it down the hill. And then for years, every time I would work with a band and we would start smelling that smell of like, yeah, this track is not happening, just roll it down the hill. So, yeah, that's what actually happened that night.
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy.
That is pretty wild.
Like I said, it just like it negates the entire fact that you're doing crystal meth.
Yeah.
When you drop that line.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like saying I brutally murdered a man at Michael Jackson's house. And you go like, wow, really? Was the monkey there?
Yeah, I guess I figured since it was so long ago, I could say crystal meth and nobody's going to think ill of me.
Yeah.
No,
they may. I mean, they might.
No.
I don't know.
No, it's
I was a kid, you know.
Yeah.
Everyone did
It's
crystal
actually
meth in
pretty
the
cool.
60s, right?
Yeah, especially around this time, everybody did drugs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, everybody did. And people, I mean, overdid drugs there. So many people just died. People I knew, like famous musicians, not famous musicians, you know, they just started peeling off and dying from alcohol, coke, speed, heroin. It was sad. It really was. And all this creative energy, which was great. There was so much great music then. I had like the honor to sit in on some of this stuff, like, you know, Rick Danko and guys just sitting around and playing with them, and you know. But then it, you know, everybody paid the price for that shit.
Yeah.
You know? It was it's a weird time. And Woodstock now is just this nice little upstate town.
Yeah,
it's like the circus left town. It's like there was this crazy fucking circus that took over Woodstock for like 10 years, and now dead silence. Crickets, you know.
Yeah, now everyone's just on Instagram.
Yeah, right. Yeah. There's still great musicians that live up there. A lot of great musicians. But that scene is not there anymore.
Yeah.
That craziness. I mean, you think downtown Reykjavik's nuts. You know?
Yeah.
Picture that in a tiny, small town with famous people with a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's like you can't sustain it.
No.
Like a scene like that can't sustain itself. Like
No, it
people
can't.
just burn out and then it fizzles out and move over.
Yeah, it was weird, you know, just observing it because, you know, aside from that one time I didn't do hard drugs. And just watching it, and I wasn't a drinker either. It was weird just watching it. It was like, wow, is this what happens when you get famous, or what is this thing?
Yeah,
What's going on around me, you know? And Albert Grossman is presiding over this. You know, he's this big guy, looks kind of like Benjamin Franklin, and he talks like this. He talks very cryptically, you know. Well, Albert, what do you think of this track? I don't know. We'll put it on a 7.5, and you know, he would never say anything. And people would be like, what did he mean? You know, they would try to dissect what he's meaning. And, yeah, he's presiding over this whole thing, this very strange character. I mean, he didn't go around doing all this stuff. He was, I don't know, in his 60s, I guess. But, you know, all his crazy bastard children were running around killing themselves. And he's like, yeah, I guess Paul's in the hospital again, you know.
So how did you were a producer for Foghat?
Yeah.
First.
Yeah.
And then what happened to the previous bass player?
They just had I don't know, they had differences of something with him. They wanted them to lead the band. And I was set to produce their next record anyway. And so they asked me if I wanted to join. And I said I'd do it for a year because I'd kind of stopped playing that kind of music a while ago. I mean, it was just sort of very simple hard rock, you know. And I was trying to play jazz, you know. In fact, the night they called me to ask me about this, I was working on an Eric Dolphy solo. He's like, you know, really out there modern jazz, kind of trying to learn it on the guitar. So I told him I'd do it for a year because I figured a lot of that time's going to be spent in the studio or some of it. And, you know, see what it's like to go out on the road with a big rock band. And
were they pretty big at that time?
Yeah, they were really big. Not as big as they were after we released the record we did.
Yeah.
That Slow Ride. That was their biggest record, that and the live record. And Yeah, but they were big enough so that, you know, you'd be playing arenas and stuff like that. And that, like, remember the first time I did it, you know, you hear this sort of theme music. They used to play Land of Hope and Glory, you know, by Elgar before they'd come on. You know, this big symphonic piece would go on and the lights would come down and everybody put up cigarette lighters into the air. And I was like, wow, holy God, what? Oh my God. And we go out there and we play. And that was exciting for about 6 weeks. Yeah. After that, I was like, get me out of here. Because you're playing the same thing every night. You're not interacting with the audience. You can barely see them. Yeah. You know, it's so freaking loud. I'm wearing earplugs. And after a while, I just got so bored doing it. Yeah. I started drinking a bottle of Piper Heidsieck champagne. Before every set, and I'd come off and I'd be sober because I would sweat it out, and I'm like just trying to get through it because at the time, feels like work. I wasn't the party guy. I was kind of a nerd. I had 2 suitcases, a small one with clothes and a big one with complete works of Beethoven on cassette, and all my health food and granola and stuff like that. I was over it pretty soon. I really was.
Yeah, but you did it for a year?
I did it for a year, and I really liked the guys. I mean, that's really the reason I think that I considered even doing it, was that I loved hanging out with the guys. Yeah, nice. You know, and we had some good times. We had good fun making that record. We had some adventures on the road. It was fun.
Yeah. And how did you get into voice acting?
Oh, wow. That was, well, let's see. At the time, I was making records. I had a solo record that I just made, and I was producing another artist named Kim O'Leary. And I got into a rock climbing accident. I soloed something I shouldn't have been, and I fell, and I screwed my ankle up. And I was in and out of the hospital for a year. Lost my record contract. I didn't have health insurance, so I had to sell pretty much everything I had.
Shit, yeah.
I actually, while I was in that, I had this big fixator on my leg, and I had to keep my leg elevated all the time. And I actually made a record for Richard and Leslie Bach. Richard Bach is author of Jonathan Livingston Seagull and Illusions, a hugely popular author. And because of my Motown record, they had heard that, and they wanted to meet me because they really liked the record. And we just hit up a friendship, and I made a record to go with their book that they had coming out called One. I'm actually in the book. They mentioned me in the book, yeah. And so I did that in that state. But meanwhile, I'm running out of money, and then we couldn't. At that point, the idea of having a record to go with a book, nobody understood it, you know. So we could never make it happen. And by this time, I'm out of money. And I had a friend who did voiceover, and I thought, well, I'd been doing like crazy voices all my life, just accents and dialects. I always loved that. And, you know, imitating the Goon Show, and then when Python came on, I'd be doing all that kind of stuff. And I thought, well, I think I could maybe do that. It seems so easy, you know what I mean? All you need is your voice. Yeah. So I made a tape, and lo and behold, I started to get work. I got an agent. I started to get work.
Was that your first step into like acting?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Well, before that, I had a girlfriend who thought, you'd be a good actor. You should take an acting class. I went to an acting class. I hated it because it was all this very method stuff, you know. Yeah. It was all like go and get in touch with your emotions, and, you know, when your dog died, and use that to cry, and, you know, I don't believe what you're doing. It's not emotionally true. And I didn't understand that then. I mean, now I consider myself a method actor now. Yeah. You know, not that I do all that cornball stuff, but I do try to work from the inside out and stuff. But I had thought, well, geez, I hate this, so I took a few more classes to try to see if I could get into it, but I just didn't like it. And so when my voiceover agents told me, well, you know, let us send you out for on-camera stuff too, you know, industrial films or commercials. I said, I can't act. I tried it. I sucked. I said, just try it. So I went and tried, and the first thing I got was playing a character. They had an actor playing James Brown. He was a James Brown impersonator, and they were doing some industrial film. I don't remember exactly what. They did some song parody. It was a mattress company, and James Brown was going, I slept good. I knew that I would. Everybody, lay down on the bed.
That's so
and
bad.
I played his manager. I played this British manager for James Brown. And so I just created this character, and that was fun. And then I realized something while we were shooting it, that everybody was pretty chill when they were doing the scene, but when it came time for the close-up, they would tense up. And I thought, and then when I felt that too. It's like, okay, it's all on me now. I figured I got to do something harder than this so that this seems easy. So I'd seen improv comedy being performed. I thought, well, that looks really fucking hard. So I'm going to try that. So I went to a workshop and I just fell in love with it.
Yeah.
And that was how I got into acting, really through improv.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm a character actor. You know, I like to play different people and just sort of come up with crazy shit. And I fell in love with that, and that made me, you know, gave me a platform, gave me a base to learn how to act from. And then I went back and started taking classes again, and I had some, you know, it worked more. I was able to absorb that stuff too, and I had some really good teachers. And so, yeah, that's how that turned into acting. Improv comedy really is what got me into on-camera acting.
That's crazy, man. Like, was this in LA where you were taking the acting classes?
Yeah, I took some in Atlanta. I had a great teacher named Roberta Ilg, who's no longer with us. And she taught a theory she called phenomenology. It sounded kind of esoteric, but and it was great for me because she would do what she called unscripted texts, which is a thing that happens sometimes in acting classes. You get 10, 15 lines of dialogue that could mean anything. Mm-hmm. They don't, you know, it's just blank. Mm-hmm. And you and your partner go out and say, okay, let's make this mean something. And you figure out, okay, here's the scene, here's the setting. Maybe, I remember one I did, okay, we're circus performers and you're a knife thrower and we're fucking around backstage, you know, and we're just doing knife throwing for fun. And then but we have a problem with each other. And so it develops, you know, this line could mean this and that. And you would create a scene based on these lines that could mean anything. You would make them mean something. And that's what you have to do in acting with a script. You have to figure out, I mean, the lines do mean something. They mean what the writer meant or what you can glean from what the writer meant, but you got to personalize it too. Right. You know, what does this mean for me? So, you know, when you're working with lines that mean nothing or could mean anything, and you learn how to act with that, then when you get a script, you have that ability to, if something's confusing, you know, you can kind of get in there and work your imagination to personalize it for yourself. Mm-hmm. And then I did Meisner technique. Then I did like some movement stuff. And then when I got out to LA, I worked with guys like, Morgan Shepherd, a really good actor, Gordon Hunt, who was director at Mark Taper Forum, and also directed a lot of animation. He was the main guy at Hanna-Barbera. And a guy named Doug Warwick, and I would say I learned more from working on the set, but than in class, because I started working pretty early. I had to, you know, even before I started getting into classes in LA. I got jobs from doing improv shows. Mm-hmm. Right. I was doing I got my first job ever was Golden Girls. And I got that. Well, I got that from performing at the Comedy Store, actually. And somebody saw me there and put me on Golden Girls. And then while I was shooting that, I went to do an improv show with my group. And it was the worst improv show I've ever done. It was terrible. And up until then, I'd only done comedy stuff. I mean, the Golden Girls was a comedy, and the theater I'd done was comedy. And at this terrible improv show is Charlie Haid, who's this great actor and great director. He used to direct, what was that, Chicago something. I can't remember these back at least 90s shows, cop shows. Mm-hmm. He was a really good director and a great actor. And he saw me, and I guess he thought, well, this guy's not funny. I guess I'll cast him for a drama.
So he saw you during that shitty show.
Yeah, he saw me doing a shitty show, and he decides he wants to call me in for a lawyer show. And I'm on the set of the Golden Girls, and I get this call. Like, you know, Charlie Haid wants to see you for the antagonist. So I go in and I got the job, you know. And I just kind of, I guess from all the stuff I'd done, I was like, okay, I got the script. Who is this guy? What do I do? Blah, blah, blah. And I was able to put it together and I got the job. And then doing the jobs, I would just learn so much. Because the stuff you learn on a set, you don't learn in acting class. No. You know, all the technical stuff, all the... you know, stuff that makes this stuff happen at $100,000 an hour. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I would see the way other actors would work, like real professional TV actors, how they would pace themselves, how they would work off each other, or, you know, all this stuff that you need to know. And I just kind of learned on a job, really. I think more than anything.
Right. It's the best way to learn anything.
Yeah, I think so. It's like, for example, with stand-up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I can't imagine how much you can actually learn at a stand-up class.
No, I've never taken one. I don't know what it would be like.
It's mostly just,
He started out in a stand-up class.
Oh, really?
I did. I did one set before.
And I am certain that when I started out, if I had like heard of a stand-up class, I probably would have taken it just because you didn't know any better.
Right.
And it's not, I actually knew better. I was kind of, because I had been such a fan of stand-up and podcast, I had heard other comedians kind of shit on doing the classes.
Right.
But I was so scared of going up on stage. And I knew taking a class I would be forced to.
And it makes you more comfortable.
I think that's kind of like the only real thing you can get out of it.
Yes, totally.
I mean, sure, you might pick up some pointers about how to write jokes or whatever, but you learned
if you got a really talented teacher.
But you like in most cases you just learned to write their jokes.
Right. Yeah. You learn old school structures and stuff. Yeah.
He kind of went through, like, he showed us different comedians and different techniques and stuff, and it was Thorstein Guðmundsson. You know, he's an Icelandic actor. And comedian. And every class he made us go up on stage. Like the first class, it was just to go up and introduce ourselves.
Yeah.
And the next class, it was say something interesting about yourself. And then you had a story, and then you could do material. I don't remember how
that sounds pretty cool,
actually. And it helped me a lot.
Yeah, well, I can see that because you're basically a storyteller.
Yeah.
You're not like a joke writer. You're a storyteller. And
as a matter of fact, there's no jokes in your stories.
No,
there are none. No, I was watching last night because I was, I did my set and I was thinking, man, maybe I need more punchlines. I'm not getting a laugh here. I'm not getting a laugh there. Then I'm watching you and it's like,
he doesn't get any
punchlines. When I started out, I didn't even think about punchlines. I would say, like George Carlin said, I'm not a joke guy. I'm a funny idea guy.
Right.
And the same with you. You have this story that happened and you structure it in a way where people really see the ridiculousness and the humor of it. So I could see how that would have influenced you.
It was I mean, I did one set before, like a week before, and I completely bombed because I was just terrified.
Right.
Was that bar 11?
Yes.
Oh God, that's a terrible place to bomb.
And,
oh shit.
I know. And Greipur was hosting.
Oh my God.
And
we were still you did your first stand-up show with us, right?
Yeah, at Gökeren.
And then you came over to bar 11.
Yeah, I started coming to bar 11. Yeah.
Okay, so you were there for that.
It can be a good room. Like if
I had some good shows there. I even hosted there, which I just about almost never do.
When it filled up, it could be good shows.
Yeah.
But also like it was just like it was so dependent on the talent.
Oh because it could be dismal. You could get like nobody in there, and people, and a lot of people would get up who just weren't very good at that time. Yeah,
and it was just like, it just like in many cases like you had maybe 8 people in the lineup.
Yeah,
3 of them good.
Yeah,
and they all started the show.
Yeah,
and then you had 5 abysmal people who. Followed.
Well, so even when you started Come Talk Funny, it was basically an open mic, and everybody was just learning how to do it.
Yeah,
So
no, we just learned as we went.
Yeah, we totally did. Yeah,
evolution of stand up in Iceland. Over the last 5 years. 5-6 years.
Yeah,
it's been amazing.
I know.
Like look at old tapes.
Because like I've never been to a comedy club.
Right.
Like, I've never been to
outside
a comedy
Iceland?
club.
No. Wow.
Like so, all I had to work with was what I thought a comedy club was and what I'd heard from a podcast and whatever. So we were really legit, like just figuring it out as we went.
Yeah.
And then,
And I have to say, I was more adventurous then, really. Because at the Cellar, we got all these really good comedians. I feel like, okay, I got to kill. The show needs me to kill. I need to kill to feel good about myself. And, so whereas at Gökeren, it was like, I felt like I could do anything.
Yeah.
Just go up there, 3 people have bombed before me. So if I go up there and, it would work usually. I would do experimental stuff or just whatever. And I feel more pressure, It's like people are paying to get in here.
Like the first 3 years were like fantastic like that. It was like the Wild West.
Yeah.
It was just like it's such an overused phrase, but it was true. It was kind of like the inmates running the asylum sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And then I think like the 4th and the 5th year had been going on for so long
that
many people came expecting something, or we felt they expected something. And so like I think less people started to experiment. People just started repeating the same stuff over and over again, and then like it wouldn't work that night. You wouldn't understand why, and eventually just fizzled out.
Right. Yeah, at the cellar, I think once we moved to the cellar, we all started repeating sets and tweaking them, like you would do at a comedy, like it was at the Comedy Store. I would see these guys do the same exact set every night because it was a different audience every night, and they're tweaking it and making it bomb-proof, and that's more like what we do now. We'll bring new stuff to an open mic maybe a couple times or 3 times, 4 times, get it where we want it, and then do it on a weekend.
We also have more spots now.
Yeah,
like with the Monday, it was only Monday.
It was only Monday. You made it count.
You had to.
Yeah, you had to do it on that night. It wasn't really. We did open mics for a while, other kind of looser open mics, but they never really stuck, did they?
Yeah, we tried the golden mic.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah, when we tried, I think that was kind of, maybe that was the turning point. Where we tried to make Come Talk Funny more premium.
Right.
And we try to like shift it from this open mic sort of happy, this fun house sort of thing.
Yeah, and it did work. I mean, it did get more professional because people were getting better.
But I think it went better for a while. But then there was something that happened. I don't know.
I can't remember. Yeah, things were always in flux over there.
Yeah.
It was this crazy time. I loved it. I mean, it was just.
I also feel like the audience changed, and I'm not one to blame the audience.
Yeah.
But like I think it was like more the type of people who came to Goikrin changed.
Maybe,
yeah.
And so I think like at some point the Goikrin would have been so good for like an alt comedy scene.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they're doing something there, or they were with a Soul Flow. LGBT
Taylor,
and women comedy. So they're probably,
Are they open now even?
Yeah, they're open up again.
Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting. I think we got more and more tourists.
Yeah.
Whereas when it was mostly Icelanders, we felt like we'd have to do different stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember you would get up and do the Shaggy Dog story, and we would just try nuts stuff, and it would work.
I did like a 15-minute story up top.
Yeah, I know. That's the same people
no
coming every
lines.
week. You had to.
And like the whole punchline was that there was no punchline.
Oh yeah, I love that thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm amazed. I was allowed to get away with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said for it. But we got open mics now, so we.
And that was like, I think like when it was this whole funhouse thing, that's where I started doing crowd work and felt comfortable doing it.
Yeah.
And then when it became these sort of, now it's a premium show, we need to kill,
Yeah.
I felt less inclined to do it, and I started pretty much in many cases faking crowd work.
Oh, really?
In a way, where you are, I'm not saying like you just kind of repeat stuff that had worked before.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really improv anymore.
Right.
It was just
people can pick up on it when it's
if you know it, they'll know it.
Yeah.
The audience loves when you just do something in a moment.
Yeah.
That's why I want to learn how to do crowd work. I mean, because I noticed with me, if some accident happens on stage. Well, I had an acting teacher one time said, mistakes engender reality because mistakes are real.
Yeah.
If something happens and you respond to it, they love that.
Yeah. It's just this magic of now. This is happening now.
Is.
Just for me.
Yeah. Because, I interrupted when you guys were saying something.
I don't know.
No.
Probably nothing important.
You talk about crowd work at Goikinen.
Yeah. I think and just after that, I think, because I stopped doing it, I became less inclined to try it again.
Right.
And I think if we'd continued down that path, I could have gotten so much better at it. But it kind of put.
You also got stuck in the hosting gig.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that definitely burned me out.
That's York Underwood's fault. I remember the night you had the conversation. He was like, it's your show. You need to host it. You need to learn how to host. You need to do it. You need to run this thing. You need to do it. and I remember saying, well, if he wants to, that has something to do with it.
And it was also I think originally was because he was supposed to host.
Oh, was he?
But he bailed out, so I had to host.
Oh,
and then he
I don't remember him hosting in those days. Did he host a lot?
I think he hosted like one show. Like the very first Com Talk Funny poster has his fucking face on it.
Wow.
Because he was supposed to be the host. But then he bailed last second because he was stuck in Akureyri or some bullshit.
I remember John O'Duffy used to host a lot.
Yeah.
You hosted. It was mostly you and John in those days.
And I think definitely hosting taught me a lot. For sure.
Yeah.
It's a
And in those days, the host would almost do sets between stuff, especially if somebody had bombed. I better go up there and do some material.
Yeah. But it's like, it definitely taught me a lot. But I think like towards the end, it was one of the things that burned me out.
Yeah.
But I just did it out of necessity.
Yeah.
It was less because I had planned to go into hosting comedy shows. I just wanted to be a comedian.
Yeah.
So I think, definitely towards the end, I was just so sick of going up there and lying. This guy is definitely not my favorite comedian. I despise this motherfucker. I wish I could tell you people.
You should come back and tell them.
Yeah.
You should do stand-up again.
You should do stand-up.
Yeah.
Everybody out there listening, find Gisli Johan.
That's not going to help.
Gisli Johan, find his house.
There's 2 people listening, and neither of them are my friends on Facebook. I think it's Mauricio's mom and his brother.
Well, if anybody is listening, if there's any aliens out there, send some anal probes to Gisli and make him come back and do stand-up. We need you, you know.
Yeah.
We're thinking about, he actually suggested that we do a show in Icelandic. Or set up a show somewhere else.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'll have.
Is anybody doing that? I mean, is Mid-Eastland?
It is.
Yeah.
And Jakob and.
There are a few people.
Yeah.
It's starting up again.
Yeah. I want to do it. I want to plan something maybe this fall.
Cool.
I mean, you, me, and Mauricio are going to do.
Oh, we're going to do that town.
Yeah.
Where they
I
call
haven't
the
looked
freezer.
into it.
Is that what it's called, the freezer?
Yeah, the freezer.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out after the Fringe.
Yeah.
Everybody's kind of busy right now.
Yeah.
But I think we are running out of time here. So
Sweet.
I think we should wrap it up.
All right.
It's been good.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure, gentlemen.
And thank you for joining us next.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure.
And we'll see you next week if Mauricio continues down this doomed path of self-importance.
It is kind of funny that we said Mauricio was too famous for the show now, so we replaced him with Nick James.
Well, he's flying over volcanoes in helicopters, you know.
Yeah.
He's like an action star.
Yeah.
He's dancing around a volcano.
Yeah, he played a legit FBI cop or something.
Yeah.
Did he?
He got thrown out of a helicopter.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're gonna, when it comes out, we're gonna play the clip.
I played a CIA agent, it was near, I think it was near Katla, actually. It was out in the lava flats, and it was
I remember this.
Yeah, it was a show
it
about.
Darren?
It was a show. Yeah, Darren was in that too.
Yeah.
I played his boss. I was constantly berating him, and we were out in the lava flats, and it was about faking the moon landing, and it looked like the surface of the moon.
Oh,
yeah.
It was a trip. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Did I say that Mauricio got thrown out of a helicopter?
Nick just said that.
No, I feel like I just
No,
Stella.
No, wait, no,
Wait
you
a
said
minute.
that.
He didn't literally get thrown out of a
No. I think
he
I messed
doesn't do
it
his
up.
own stunts.
Yeah.
He got hit by a motorcycle.
Oh,
For
But
real?
No, in
No,
the show.
no, that's not for real. Okay.
We hope that one day.
That's what acting is. I forget.
Yeah.
You pretend
You
things
pretend,
happen.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't really happen.
Yeah, that's been my problem. I try to.
Okay, but thank you for coming again.
Oh, my great pleasure.
So yes, we have an outro song. I think.
do we? No, it's the same one everyone else has. Just press all the buttons.
Yeah, there's nothing playing. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.